The Montreal Canadiens have done it again, winning against Toronto in overtime, this time in Game 6, to force a Game 7 back in Toronto in the first round of their Stanley Cup Playoff series. Toronto, of course, had a 3-1 lead. They lost 2 straight in OT. Montreal has come back to tie it, and all of a sudden here, with the fans in the stands, the Habs have life. Before we even get underway with the game, let's talk about the guys that were in, the guys that were out, and the guys that ended up leaving. Thomas Tatar, eh? Oh boy, Thomas Tatar replaced for Jake Evans. A lot of people were speculating, okay, if Evans is going to be in, are they going to take out Stahl because Stahl is a center and leave Tatar in? No, they decided straight up we'll take out Tatar for Evans, and if that does not signal the writing on the wall for a potential Thomas Tatar departure in the offseason, then I don't know what will. The fact is, the Canadiens won a game with this lineup here, with Tatar out, with Evans and Stahl in, and the amount of impact that says to a guy that has been here with these contract negotiations like Tatar has been, I don't know how good of a sign that is, man, but hey, at the end of the day, the Habs ended up winning. We also had Jake Muzzin on the Toronto side leaving this game partway through the second period, and that is an absolutely devastating loss for the Leafs. You take a look at how exactly things were going about, and I saw so many people saying, okay, at the very least, we have Dermott in there instead of Sandin. Having Sandin in the position to potentially step up and fill up those Muzzin minutes would have been a huge, huge task for that rookie defender. So the fact that Dermott, who honestly is pretty good up until the very end of the game, is in here instead, good sign. We'll see how exactly Muzzin is able to come back later on, if he even does do that. It looked like he kind of pulled something while he was skating away. But big loss for the Leafs. It was definitely felt in the lineup, and eventually does result in the ultimate decision here in this game. Now on to the game. Now I'm going to be honest here, this game was not an easy one to watch, because this was one of the rare games, and I say rare, it could be seen as disrespectful, it's not really, it's just kind of how I see it. This was one of those rare games for the Canadiens this season, where I watch the first 2 periods and I go, man, Montreal should be winning this one. Like, they really, really should be winning this one. The money puck deserved to win-o-meter was at like 70-something% Montreal should be winning this game after the first 2 periods. Montreal just absolutely came out swinging here after all the energy from the fans in the stands singing the anthem in French and all that. So much energy, so much offensive opportunity, so much scoring ability just not finding its way on the score sheet here. Cole Caulfield, in the first 2 periods of play, was absolutely ballistic, going out there with shots off the post, creating plays for the Habs, and just doing what Cole Caulfield does best. But pretty much the entire flow of the first periods were Montreal, Montreal, Montreal. Toronto didn't really have the same swagger, and when they did get their few chances, hey, Carey Price stopped them on the doorstep. And so, after the first 2 periods, when it was still 0-0, I was kind of saying to myself, this is like a really good Habs game to lose. This is exactly the kind of game the Habs are going to lose, where they're absolutely dominating throughout the first 40 minutes and then they collapse in the last 20. And because I'm kind of pessimistic in the way that I take a look at these things, I'm sure there are so many other fans of other fan bases out there saying, you know what, Toronto was kind of under siege for the first 40 minutes. That means they're going to win in the third, right? It's kind of funny how hockey works that way, isn't it? But the third period gets underway, and a lot of that energy from the Montreal Canadiens in the first 40 minutes, oh boy, it really starts to redeem itself here. Firstly, Toronto gets a power play that is really weird. It's Philippe Danault. After he kind of gets hooked a little bit by Matthews and Danault kind of slashes him afterwards, it's Danault going to the box. Matthews gets away unscathed. You can hear the fans booing really loud on this one. And eventually Montreal kills off the power play. Okay, great, good for them. Immediately afterwards, though, Toronto goes to the box. It's a very clear makeup call here, but it is one that eventually does get through. on the power play. Montreal has that set up. They throw it over to the side. It's Cole Caulfield who one-times that on net. It's scrambled out in front. Toffoli is there, and so is Corey Perry, who puts it into the open cage. Montreal gets on the board, 1-0, but wait, Toronto goes on the coach's challenge. They challenge it for goalie interference because they think Toffoli went in there, and he had something to do with it, and yeah, it doesn't work. From the goal at the very beginning, I was like, you know what, that's a good goal, right? That's a good goal. It should be 1-0 Montreal. And then after they challenged it, I was like, are they really going to call this back because Toffoli just happened to be there? Like, it's not like he impeded Campbell from making the save. Campbell didn't even move. And the call is good on the ice. It's a good goal. 1-0 Montreal. Toronto goes shorthanded again because they failed the coach's challenge. And while shorthanded, for the second time in straight succession, Mitch Marner picks up the puck in the faceoff circle. He's got a whole bunch of room. Nobody's challenging him. And he flips it over the glass behind the Montreal bench. It becomes 5-on-3. What was that, Mitch Marner? Eventually, it's Suzuki to Toffoli on the 5-on-3, and he scores. 2-0 Montreal with 14 minutes left. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, okay, wow. This is a Montreal team that is cashing in on all of their momentum from the first 40 minutes. Things are looking really good for Montreal right here. But honestly, I was kind of thinking to myself, man, things are looking a little bit too good over here. And I was saying in the group chats with my friends, I wouldn't be surprised if Montreal ended up losing this game. Like, to be honest, we know it's the Leafs. We get that the Leafs have that reputation. But I wouldn't be surprised. And eventually it's Spezza who comes in, he spins with a shot, he scores. Okay, it's 2-1 now. Okay, the Habs are up with 1 goal with 11 minutes left. How exactly are things going to go here? And then it's TJ Brodie. Oh boy, he takes a slapper off of the Petrie skate and in. After what was a really bad shift for the Canadiens, honestly. They just stopped cycling it properly. They didn't have any outlets. They just got hemmed into their zone. And eventually, Toronto capitalizes. They tie the game, and it goes to overtime. I'm saying to myself here, man, this is exactly like game number 5. Montreal won the last time it went to overtime after blowing a multi-goal lead. Let's see if they still have that magic here in tonight's game. And to be fair, for the first good chunks of overtime, they don't. It's Carey Price who comes out here and he steals it. It goes like, I think, 10 minutes before the Canadiens get a shot. This was all Toronto in overtime. They had so many opportunities to end it here, but Carey Price says no. But you know what? Hockey is weird. Hockey is a really weird sport. I was talking about, even though the Canadiens were so good in the first 40 minutes, I could totally see them losing in a full 60 because that's just how hockey works. Even though the Canadiens were getting severely outplayed in the overtime period, I was kind of saying to myself, the longer this goes on, the better I feel about Montreal coming back and winning. Hockey's so weird that it can actually work out that way, because eventually it's Travis Dermott, who in his own zone has the puck on the half boards. He tries sending it up, it's stolen away by Byron. Byron centers it out for Kotkaniemi. He comes in, he shoots, and he scores. Oh my gosh, Kotkaniemi wins the game in overtime after what was an absolutely dominating Toronto overtime period. This is hockey, man. This is hockey. The games are so weird because the teams that actually look like they're supposed to be winning end up losing. And it's 3-2 in overtime here. Jesperi Kotkaniemi from Paul Byron gets the overtime marker. And, Kotkaniemi has been scoring a lot of goals ever since coming back into the lineup. This is kind of like the Kotkaniemi we thought we were going to get back after the offseason, right? It's a Game 7 on Monday. And I honestly don't know what's going to happen here, man. It's going to be in Toronto. Montreal can win in Toronto. They've done it before. And I said Leafs in 5 at the very beginning of the series, so I'm just happy to be proven wrong here. The fact that Carey Price has been the guy, he has been the best version of himself here. The fact that Toronto has come out here with so much momentum and still found ways to lose 2 straight. Oh man, it's absolutely insane. So we have a Game 7. Let's take a look at what happens there. I'm just absolutely speechless, man. Talk to me in the comments what you thought about this game. I hope you enjoyed this. It was Scrolls9. Montreal won, dude. They won 2 straight overtime games. And bye.